You can try to run. Apparently we're one of the herd. I'm gonna do another jog. Okay, so random. Ask me how much I run. I don't. Guess I have a jogging buddy. Oh my God, what's in a name? That's my next video. What's in a name? Because it's going to be a lighter video because the last one was pretty heavy. Now, I changed her name from Alice to Annie. And I'm going to sit down and talk to Owen. About this change of name. I have to kind of pay attention to here, got to pay attention to in front of me. What's in a name? My name's Annette, means full of grace. And if I don't watch where I'm going, I'll show you just how full of grace I am. Right? Splat. Last year I tripped on a clod of dirt gardening and I busted 3 metatarsals. My first broken bones ever. That was special. I'm going to do a spin to the left. Do a jog. Hey girl. Owen's wondering what I'm doing while he's in there having lunch. Running with horses. See you later, Annie. And that's gonna be Annie. I'm thinking she's going, oh no you don't. Fleet of foot, I am not. See you later, Annie. Are you having fun? Are you having fun? I know, we got to get her a buddy. She's lonely. Let me tell you about when she ran away. 2 days ago. Annie. I went out to give her supplements. No Annie. I searched and I searched. You better turn your head. Couldn't find Annie. Started walking with a halter. Started walking with a halter down the road. A neighbor was driving back and I stopped the truck and asked her if she'd seen a horse. Well, she'd seen a posting and it was a relative of hers. And so we hopped in her truck, went a kilometer away, and by God, it was our Annie. Lonely. Looking for a bunch of other mares to hang with. So, getting back to looking for a second horse. The Hank horse fell through. The owner didn't think he'd be a great fit, especially since he bucked me off, and then he's learning he's going to get put down is what's happening. And not because he bucked me off, but because if he had that broken foot and they tried to fix it, and he was just going to be a walking horse. But the bucking was a new behavior in 12 years, and he didn't feel safe by letting him go to us because we're so green and novice. So we're either looking for a companion or an old riding horse for a second person here. But it has to be soon because she really is lonely. It's got to be soon, otherwise I'm going to be jogging with the horses, and it's exhausting. Although perhaps I'll be getting my steps in really, really fast. Why am I slowing down? As much fun as it was running in the little pasture with Annie, it took about a half an hour of jogging, stop-start jogging, to get that 10 minutes of fun, and I was exhausted. But what happened when I tried to leave her in there, she went nuts. She was running back and forth, trying to jump over. She watched as I climbed under the barricade, and she was trying to get under there to follow me, but she couldn't. And so then she started racing up and down, trying to jump. And so I ended up returning her to her more secure paddock. But yeah, it was very interesting to see how much she had fun. My name's Annette. I'm with Carpe Omnia After 60. This is a more lighthearted video to balance out the heaviness of the one before and the one that's coming next. I'm going to also chase down my husband. Now I could tell you the story, but you might be thinking I'm making it up, or who knows? So I just thought I would track him down, and he can tell you about the biggest time a name was a big problem, a name that we would go by. Now, as a precursor, this is my fourth marriage. With each of my previous marriages, I changed my name to my husband's last name. And then when we split, whether I left him or he left me, I went back to my maiden name. So six times, or six different last names, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And Owen and I were going to Calgary to get our passports. And when you're in there, they ask you to give your aliases, all your aliases. So I started right with my first one, which was my maiden, then my married, then back to my maiden, then my second married, then my second maiden. And the lady doing the passports like, oh, we don't have enough space. So I gave the last, she squeezed it in somehow. I'm not sure how. But I'm like, this is what's happening, Owen. Just thought I'd tell you. When we get married and I swap again, this might be an issue. And that was it. I wasn't upset. It was just gonna be a fact of life at that point. And yeah, I'll go track him down and see if he can tell his story. So like you said before, Owen and I, each of our last exes threw us away. And we each found ourselves in the garbage heap called Plenty of Fish. And we lucked out. At least I really lucked out. He says he lucked out. Anyway, one of the fun parts we had at the beginning of our marriage, or before our marriage, was to deal with names. And I'll let him tell you, because I wrangled him up from what I just showed you. And here he goes.
Well, Annette's tracked me down. I was out working on the acres, getting some last minute fall stuff done. And she goes, well, I want to interview you on how he changed her last name, or at least I changed my last name. So after we were dating for a while, and yes, Annette's right, we discovered each other on Plenty of Fish, and it was quite fun. But after we've been together a while, of course, we started, talking about moving in together, possible marriage. Annette had told me that, marriage wasn't a must. But I thought, oh, heck, why not, hey? But then she started talking that, oh, man, my passport, I'm going to have to go down to Calgary again. And I don't know if there's enough space to, chalk in another last name change. And I just sort of said, well, I could see it was stressing her a little bit. And I just said, well, I'll change my last name. At first, I think Annette thought I was just humoring her.
I did.
And I wasn't serious about it. But as we continued on with our planning of our marriage and that, she discovered that, yeah, I was serious. So I thought, what unique way to, illustrate the name change. And having a bit of a theater touch, I thought, well, I'll craft a tossing coin. Now, let's say that the coin was a little bit biased.
Rigged.
Rigged. So I got the coin crafted so it's slant on both sides of the coin, but right around the perimeter I had my last name, which was Speck. And if it landed straight up like this, well, it would be sucks to be Annette. It would be my last name. But the chances are it was either going to be heads Salent or
Heads Salent.
tails
Salent.
Salent. So, and we had lots of fun. We had a nice coin tossing event. One of my sisters,
She had a dramatic moment.
she had a dramatic moment. She thought I was forced into it.
I brought him to his knees.
Yeah, I thought our marriage was the first performance on a brand new medieval castle design that the Moose Hall, they were a theater group, and this was part of their play that they were going to do. Anyhow, to make a long story even longer, we sort of rehearsed this. Annette got a sword from a friend, and so when Grandma Love tossed the coin, for us and caught it, of course she showed it kind of, I knew I was gonna, so I dropped to my knees going, no! Anyhow, people thought, it was a fair toss, right? So nobody really realized that it was, fixed. One of my youngest daughter was quite upset that I was changing my name. And so I was trying to be nice to her, and I, listening to her feelings, and she's just going on about, what am I going to call you? What am I going to call you? Being her humorous dad, I thought, well, You could be formal and call me Mr. Salant, or you could just keep calling me Dad. And well, that didn't go over very well, but since then she's come around and has asked Annette and me if anything happens to her and her husband, well, we take in her 2 children. So I figured, hey, we've come a long way.
We've come a long
we came
way.
a long way from that day of saying I do.
Now tell them what it was like at the registry's place to change your name formally on your documentations.
The registry place. So, well, we'll just skip back a little bit to the guy who we got to marry us. Annette was in having a hysterectomy at the hospital at the same time, like a bridal fair was going on at the Centrium in Red Deer. So everything landed on me to, go away. Eventually brought Annette a sort of like a swag bag from this bridal fair, and the JP who married us told me he had been doing it for like 25 years, and that not once in his whole career had the groom came to book the wedding or book him for a wedding. Hey, I was the very first guy, and I found out that I was a first to a lot of people on different things.
You were an anomaly.
I was an anomaly. So skip ahead to now going into, I think it was AMA, because we were both members. So we went in to get the paperwork to change the name, and the person behind the counter was really confused. Like, she started pulling out all these papers. I had to go do a criminal check. I had to get a police report done on me. And I'm trying to tell her, I don't think I need to do all that. I said, I got married. I'm just taking my wife's last name rather than her taking mine. And she was just dead set that I was wrong. She was right. And this other lady who was at the next stand in doing things was sort of, whispering, no, you're wrong. It's just form like 275. So eventually that got worked out. But we've had problems with when Jasmine came into our life, the social workers all thought I did something illegal, because they all said, you can't change your name. And I said, well, yeah. They said, I'm just, rather being the wife who took the husband's name, I did a flipso and I took her name. And almost all of them were quite adamant that I was breaking the law. I somehow conned the federal government and the provincial government changing my SIN number and my driver's license to Salant, and they thought they had us because they didn't want Jasmine coming into our home, and they thought this was a sure thing excuse that they could use to take it away, until they found out that no, you can change your last name. And in fact, it's a gray area where some people hyphenate their names, some people take different parts of their names and make basically a new name for them. So yeah, I didn't realize that changing your name when you get married, you could really become a new person. So Annette comes from a far strange, right, evangelical type upbringing. I never met this person before. I might have met him briefly at a funeral, like before we got married. But anyway, he thought I was damned because Annette now owned me because I took her last name. Annette did ask him, well, does that mean you own your wife? And he was just, yep, lock, stock, and barrel, hey? And I thought, oh, well, I don't really know this dude anyway, and his thoughts meant nothing to me, so.
And then Annette blocked him.
So that was okay too. But from what we heard later, he went down Skid Row. He became a homeless person for a while. I think he kind of is semi not homeless anymore, but maybe it's karma. But yeah, no, it's been fun. The name change has been unique. The guys at work all poked fun at me for a little while too, which I was pretty sure that was going to happen. But yeah, now, yeah, Salenta's rolls off my tongue.
And go figure, none of your girls have the same last name as you used to
Yeah,
have.
and that's what I had told my youngest daughter. I said, well, none of my daughters have my last name anymore. They all got married and they've all changed their names. So,
And you had to accept it.
and I had to accept it. So yeah, so that's how I became Mr. Salent. So
Thank
still
you,
loving
honey.
it.
You bet. So there you have it. We've had a whole lot of fun with what's in a name. It carries a lot of weight. It has a lot of meaning. And I do like the idea of calling myself She Who Runs Like the Wind Did with horses after Annie's jog with me. But yeah, we'll see you on Thursday for my sibling estrangement video, another heavy one, because, well, it's a pain of a different brush than, let's say, your parent one, because they are supposed to be your friends throughout your life. And so I'll see you later.